Welcome back to the Twisted Builds podcast. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a couple of months, a while. I've been busy doing a lot of stuff in the background. So my goal is to start putting out more podcasts, as I've said in the past. I want to bring good quality content to you guys and gals, though. I don't want to be just redundant with what I'm doing. So there've been a couple things going on, and this is going to be more of a news-oriented podcast with the news of the podcast and stuff I have going on for builds and whatnot. So it's kind of going to be short and sweet and right to the point. So first order of business, I've been looking for a co-host. I think I put it on the last podcast, but it's been so long I don't remember. I've had a couple applicants. So first one we're going to give a go is Chase Gurr. He is going to be coming on tomorrow night at the time of recording this. And we'll be getting him up and going. We're going to go over his automotive background and all the things he has been doing. Get a little bit of history on him himself and just give him a try and see how he likes the podcasting format. We also have guests coming on. It'll probably be this coming week from the time of recording. It is the 16th of December when I'm recording this right now, for a Christmas stream. So, Kevin Marksberry, and he's going to be talking or reaching out to one of his friends. Sounds like they're going to be coming on for a Christmas stream podcast from Twisted Build. So, we're excited about that. Kevin Marksberry is one of my beta testers for the Speeduino products. So, he and I have been working together. He just, actually, I'm getting ready to ship him a drop bear unit. He has he has a 4200 straight 6 on an engine dyno that he's been hooking up the Speeduino to and getting me all kinds of absolutely valuable information. So, because of that, and he and I have been talking quite a bit and whatnot. He's going to be coming on. I'm excited to have him on for a Christmas stream. That's going to be a blast. So, but yes, so, as I said, I've had a couple people who've wanted to come on as guests, and I'm looking for a co-host. So, it's kind of the next couple of episodes are going to be kind of tryouts for a co-host because I don't want to be just behind the mic by myself all the time. I having the podcast with Calvin Nelson, that was a blast for me. That was an absolute blast for me. And if I can line up someone to be a regular co-host, I think it's going to be better content for you guys, a second opinion, someone to talk back and forth with, stuff like that. So as I said, I'm actively looking for a co-host, and we're going to give a couple people a try, and we're going to see how it goes. So that's the news for the podcast stuff. So yeah, we're going to have a couple podcasts coming out. This will be like 3 practically in a row. Yes, I want to try to get more on a weekly basis or even bi-weekly, more than, months, but, spurts in between them. But, it was just a bunch of stuff going on. So, I don't remember if I mentioned it already or not, but I got my podcasting stuff kind of set up in a better spot. I actually got, a new to me, it's a used desktop computer. It's actually an old gaming rig. So rendering and setting up the podcast and being more of a centralized location for things and a little bit more processing power for rendering and stuff. It's all set up and going now. So that's going to help me a lot with this stuff and having a kind of a set area to do it. Because I do enjoy doing this, but I think having a co-host is going to be a lot better doing this with a co-host. So yeah, that's what's happening in the next couple of weeks. So, or a couple of days, really. So, as I said, Chase Gurr will be on, tomorrow night at the time of recording, and then Kevin Marksberry and hopefully his buddy will be on for a Christmas stream, next week. So, we're excited about that. S10 build update. So, as you guys have seen on, at least my YouTube following has seen, I got the rear coilovers in, 3 links already in. I just made or designed all the brackets for all the metal plates I need cut up for the Watts link. So that was a bit of an endeavor figuring out everything I want. So that is all designed up. I just sent the files over to Matt Mosier of Mosier Made today because I designed everything. Like all the brackets I've been designing in Fusion 360. So that way they're exactly the way I want them. Just send him over the DXF files, He cuts them out and ships them to me. I pay him, and everything's great. So, and they've all been perfect cuts. So, I'm excited. I am pretty much the Watts link is actually going to go behind the coilovers, which a lot of people are going to be like, that's really far behind the rear axle. Well, I did some measuring. So, my Firebird's a Panhard bar setup. It's a torque arm suspension, so 2 lower links, a torque arm, and then it's got it's got Panhard bar. And that Panhard bar mount is, no kidding, 7 inches behind the rear axle tube. And that's an 8/8 tube now, so it's the same diameter. So I was like, oh my word, that's really far back. My Watts link setup's only going to be 5.5 inches from the axle tube behind the rear axle on the S10. So it's a couple inches closer to the rear axle. It should be fine. So I designed everything to on a 6-inch bell crank eye to eye distance. So which means that like the driver's side, the passenger side mounting locations on the axle for the Watts link, because I'm putting the bell crank on the chassis. So the axle mounting brackets, like say for instance the right side. Yes, the right side will be 3 inches above axle center line. The left side will be 3 inches below center line, which will give you a 6-inch difference between the two, which makes all the geometry work correctly because it's a 6-inch difference between eye to eye on the bell crank. That should allow me, that seems to be a pretty reasonable distance. Most aftermarket kits I've been seeing use either a 5 or a 6-inch bell crank. I went with 6-inch, it's a truck, and I plan on having a severely adjustable roll center setting. So because of the fact that this is going, the bell crank is going on the chassis, you'll see a lot of different kits out there. You'll see them on the rear axle, you'll see them on the chassis. I'm doing mine on the chassis for a couple of reasons. A, it's packaging. With the way I did my coilovers behind the rear axle, to where I could get my angular adjustability without rolling into that third link up top in the front of the axle. Having a diff-mounted Watts link is not going to happen. There's just no room. The other thing with it is the fact that when you have a diff-mounted Watts link, the roll center stays with the differential. So that means it stays in relation to the contact patch of the tire. And your center of gravity of the vehicle and the roll center are primarily always moving around. They're not in a fixed location. Whereas if you put the roll center, which is the center point of that bell crank, and mount it on the chassis itself, that roll center stays fixed in relation to the center of gravity, because the center of gravity is part of the chassis itself. So because of that, because of that, I wanted to have it on the chassis itself. That way I can adjust roll center in relation to that that center of gravity wherever it is on my truck. I'm gonna have to get it on scales and kind of figure it out. But yeah, that way I can adjust that roll center to center of gravity and change its driving characteristics more. I guess it's more repeatable. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but it's more easier to find. It's not as it won't be as picky. So small adjustments are going to make a small incremental change, and larger adjustments will make a larger incremental change. Which, yes, you'll get that on a diff-mounted link too, but it's going to be more predictable. Sorry, that's the word I was going for. It's going to be a more predictable change being on the chassis. So that's the way I'm going. And think of a Watts link, for the guys who don't know what I'm talking about. Think of a Watts link roll center mounting position. Definitely if you have it on a chassis, think of it as the square drive of a ratchet. All right. So that square drive of a ratchet, that's where you're putting your socket on. That's where you put your bolt on or nut or whatever. And then you have a moment arm, which is the ratchet handle itself, and then you're putting force on the end of that ratchet. So the longer that ratchet, the more force you can put on it to turn that bolt or wheel, or a bolt or nut or whatever. The same thing's going on with a roll center and center of gravity, for definitely when it contributes to body roll. So your roll center, which is the dead center of a Watts link bell crank pivot, is imagine that as your ratchet square drive, 3/8 drive, half, whatever, but your ratchet square drive, all right? So your center of gravity is your handle, or where you're grabbing a hold of the handle. So the higher up that center of gravity is, or lower the bell crank or roll center, the more leverage that center of gravity has on the roll center of the vehicle, the more it can have body roll. All right, so the more it can put, it can transfer a load between the wheels, and more roll it has. The higher either the lower center of gravity or the adjustability part, the higher of the roll center, you take that, your handle on that ratchet and you're moving it down, which means you don't have as much leverage on it anymore. So the center of gravity does not have as much leverage on the roll center of the vehicle, which means you're going to have a lot less body roll. Now, the issue if that's tunability. So, the way I did this is, the roll center's got 14 inches of up and down adjustability in 1 inch increments. So I can go up and down 14 inches, 1 inch at a time. I'm setting the roll center up. The lowest mounting point will be below the diff at probably at a 2-inch drop. And then it'll go up from there. That should give me all kinds of adjustment. The higher you put the roll center, in theory, the more oversteer you're going to have, because you have less body roll, you have less weight transfer, I would say. And then the lower the center, or the lower the roll center, the more understeer you get. The more it's going to want to push the front end instead of steer it. So, as I said, it's going to be a major, like this whole suspension, once I get it done, I've got like ballparks where I'm starting, but there's so much adjustability, I'm going to have to just take it out on track days and just adjust it and change it and adjust it, take jack stands, jacks, and all, all the bolts and all the wrenches and ratchets and stuff, and just go through and adjust it, drive it, and kind of get it where I want it. But I'm excited. So, I'll be able to move the roll center up so high that it should make, like, the rear of that vehicle like it has the largest sway bar on earth. So, and by going off of geometry. So, I could be wrong on that. But that is what I'm doing, and I don't plan on putting a roll bar on it, anti-sway bar on it yet. There's going to be plenty of room to do that should I decide I'm going to. The way I got it set up is I'm going to be able to use a factory Ford Explorer sway bar. I'm thinking I'll weld mounts onto it before I finish up, so that way I can bolt sway bar bushings and sway bar from a factory Ford Explorer, like a 96 or something Ford Explorer, and bolt it right underneath that truck, and then I'll just have to put mounting points on the frame. I may do all of that before I finish with the rear suspension. I shouldn't have to, because of the way I'm doing the Watts link. So the bad part about anti-sway bar is, say for instance you're on a road course, all right, and you hit a bump and like it goes up or down. That sway bar is going to want to transfer everything to this other side as well, which means instead of having constant, like your tires in constant contact with the road going up, over, or into bumps, it's going to want to jump and unsettle more easily with the anti-sway bar. At least from everything I've been reading. I'm definitely no pro at this. So if I'm wrong, comment, let me know, message me, whatever. But I believe I'm going to be trying this without a rear anti-sway bar at first. Everything's going to be there to put it on if I need it. But I'm thinking I've got so much adjustability with anti-squat, and how the 3-link's set up, and then how I'm doing my my 30 degrees. I think it ended up being 30 degrees of angular adjustability with the shocks, and then the way I'm doing the Watts slick with the adjustable roll center. Because of all of that, I should be able to tune that suspension so well that I won't need an anti-sway bar. But again, I'm not I'm not benign or whatever. I know if I have to put one in, I want everything there to do it. I just don't think I'll need to run it. So because I do plan on putting quite a bit of power to this truck, I want to keep those rear tires in contact with the ground as much as humanly possible. So because of that, I'm going to try without a rear anti-sway bar, but we'll see. Pretty much once this is done, and the sway bar I should go back a little bit. The sway bar, again, I might not do it as I'm building it right now. It might be a later part, like just clean things up, weld it in, and then, repaint again. But once the Watts link's in, the rear suspension should be done. Finally, which will be a nice transition. Then I plan on moving to the front suspension. Yeah. Oh my. I never thought the suspension build on this would take longer than everything else, but it looks like that's going to be the case. So once I get the front suspension done, then it's on to all the fun stuff. Powertrain, getting the bed to fit again, because I'm probably going to have to cut the bed up a little bit. I need to replace the bed floor anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Get drivetrain in. I've got some other ideas for drivetrain, but I'm still using the Gen 4 6.2 all aluminum motor that I've got for it out of a Caddy. That's still going to be going in with a cam. Yeah, so we've gotten that. And an MV3500 trans, which I know is not the greatest trans for it, but the trucks were equipped with them from factory. It's going to go right in. I've got 3 of them at my disposal. So, like, if I blow one up, I can get another one. The transmission will be getting a blast shield the entire length of the trans. I just don't want to get hurt. Definitely with the amount of power I plan on putting to this thing. So, it's going to get probably a 3/16 blast shield, maybe quarter. It'll probably be 3/16 blast shield throughout the entire length of the transmission. Yes, I know it's going to add some weight. And if it's not that, it'll be a transmission blanket or something. But it's going to be something that's like relatively, if it's a blanket, it'll be SFI approved. If it's a shield, there's going to be no way that it's going to go through by the time I'm done with it. I just want to make sure that I am safe, and nothing's going to happen to me should something come apart in that transmission. So, and I just rather play the better be safe than sorry card and make sure it's designed to where if something were to come apart, it's not going to hurt me. So, and it'll be getting like drive shaft loops and stuff like that as well. But yeah, so it'll be that 6.2 engine, the transmission. Probably gonna go after and get a monster clutch for it. I think it's monster clutches or transmission. No, sorry, monster clutches. Yes. Corey Dunlop's running around, and to be honest with you, everything he's done with that truck looks amazing, and their customer service looks bar none. So I'll be probably going with one of their clutches. And then what else? I think that'll be it. It's going to be a lot of front, like the front suspensions, I'm hoping to get as much adjustability out of the front as I've got with the rear, or as much as feasibly possible. So, that'll be quite the build too. I do plan on taking more videos of my build. I started doing that with the last YouTube video I put up, me putting the coil springs in. I plan on making more videos like that, trying to build my YouTube following and just get you guys some more content. I'm starting to have fun with it now that I understand what I'm doing. I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos lately and how other creators are doing it, just to get an idea how I want to do it. I don't want to be a copycat. I just needed an idea of what everyone's kind of doing, and I'm going to just kind of roll with how I want to do it on my own channel, and we'll go from there. So, all right, I think that's everything for now. This ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but all right, guys. So thank you for watching. Come back for the next episode. Should be with Chase Gurr. And as I said, after that, it's going to be a Christmas stream with Kevin. So I'm excited for both of them. We're going to have a blast. So thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have Twisted Builds public Facebook group. Highly recommend getting in there if you want. I do post updates of build stuff there. Twisted Builds LLC Facebook page. That one's been kind of going down, not down, but not as updated as regularly. I'm keeping that one more towards business related stuff, like products that are coming out, like, Speeduino drop bears and stuff like that. So that is more geared towards products. I've also got a new product coming. Yes, it's a boost controller. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be in between the simple dial boost and the advanced dial boost. So, and yes, for everyone asking, after this is done, the transmission controller's coming back. We're working on it. And then, yeah, the 10-inch dash displays. But I think there's more of a calling right now for the transmission controller than there is the dash displays. So, my business partner, David Smith, is going to be working on transmission controller stuff. I actually sent him the code I had. I was working with. We're probably going to start from scratch and start over. The goal is to set it up for an EDE standalone or work with some of the major ECUs out there over CAN bus. So Speeduino as well, Mega Square, so on and so forth. So that's coming. I'm working little bits here and there on the dash displays. I'm putting one in my S10, so I've got to get it done at some point soon. And what else? I think that's it. But yes, the boost controller will be making a full announcement once I actually get one in my hands and finished. I've been working on PCB design, getting that done. The code's practically finished up. Yeah, as I said, the price point's going to be in between a simple dial boost and the Spoolie Boy. So, and yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good fill the gap between the very cheap but very reliable simple dial boost and the very good feature-packed Spoolie Boy that does cost a bit to produce, and that's why the price is high. It's not super high. It's within everyone else in the market. We just haven't gotten a lot of exposure for it yet. And it's an awesome boost control. I have it in the Firebird. I used it in the Firebird. The thing's great. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of customers that want like a in between, because that boost controller with the whole kit's $510. My simple dial boost is $120, but it's only got one feature of it where you have a display with the duty cycle it's putting out. So we're building a pretty much a mid in between. So I think you guys will like it. Once that's done, as I said, the transmission controller will be coming out, and we'll be going from there. So all right, guys, I will let you go. We're a pretty good time into this. So, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As I said, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Anywhere this podcast is getting uploaded to, and YouTube. So, and again, follow my Facebook group if you want more up-to-date stuff. I do post on there. Not often. I need to post on there more often to get in the habit of it. But yes, I post more of like I take a lot of photos in between videos and podcasting, definitely between podcasting, but I'm going to work on that. So yes, so follow there. I have an Instagram as well. You can follow there. It's DaleFollett18. And yeah, so there we go. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and have a great day. We'll see you on the next podcast. Bye.